Welcome, everybody. Happy Monday. Good to see you, Marco. Web3 Insanity in the house. Good to see you. If you can just give me a thumbs up, buddy, if you can hear me okay, that would be wonderful. Hopefully I am sounding okay. Hello, everybody. Hey, Lisa, John, good to see you. Thanks for your continuous support, buddy. Hope you're doing well, your side of the pond. Jay, great to see you. Pooja, Graham, thank you all so much for taking times out of your days to be here. Sanjana, thank you. Yasmana, thank you. Yossa, it's been a minute. Great to see you, my friend. Hope you're doing well and treating well. And yeah, really appreciate everyone tipping in today to be part of our audio. And yes, we're going to give it a couple of seconds just to let things settle down and get some more people into the room. And then we're going to get our speakers up onto the stage where we have the amazing panel today, folks. I'm super excited for this one. I'm just going to do a quick sound check before we go into intro. So Brooke will do a proper intro in a moment, but can I check your mic is live?
Absolutely, I'm here. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, my dear buddy Mitch. Great to see you, buddy. Can I check your mic is live?
I think we're good to go. Brooke, it's good to see you. Rob, always a pleasure.
Okay, let's get into it then, folks. So welcome to today's LinkedIn Live audio, and I'm super excited about this one as we're discussing how to communicate clearly and persuasively with business social audio. We have our resident panel. We have my dear friend Mitch Jackson. We have a special guest beside me on the stage today. We have the incredible BabbleOnBrooke. So give me a thumbs up, folks, if you want to spend less time online but actually get more results. Give us a thumbs up in the audience if you'd like to achieve that. Cool, good. Myself included. So let's get into it. Did you know that according to Report Linker, that the global audio and video on demand market is expected to grow to 165 billion over the next 4 years, folks? Did you also know what most people miss when it comes to really standing out on social audio platforms? The likes of this, LinkedIn Audio, Twitter Spaces, Clubhouse, and many others. And do you know how to learn to become a more clear, comfortable, confident, and even more creative host, moderator, speaker, networker when it comes to all things audio events for business? And how about attracting those ideal clients? Would you like to be able to connect with bigger influencers, build a better bio, brand, and get on stages? And would that be helpful for your brand and your own businesses? If the answer is yes, you're definitely in the right space, folks. I hope that's piqued your interest ahead of today's discussion. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Rob Hanna. I'm a legal community builder. I help lawyers with their careers and to land their dream jobs. I'm also the host of the Legally Speaking podcast. We're a top 1.5% globally ranked show. We were the first legal podcast to launch our own creator coin, and we were backed by the legal tech unicorn Clio. And I have a really keen interest in all things Web3 and startups. And I'm also a LinkedIn top 100 and rising star, and also the host of the audio platform here on LinkedIn, all things LinkedIn audio. But that said, folks, for those of you who know me well, I love to collaborate with the right and like-minded people here in the communities across the social media and social audio spaces. But firstly, please do note that this room is being recorded, so all the content shared is purely for educational purposes. Please make sure that you do your own due diligence from anything you hear within these spaces before taking any action. And we'll be running for about an hour or so within the time slotted. So hit the invite button in the meantime. Invite some people into the room, invite some of your connections, and also feel free to tag myself, the speakers, with some of your takeaways from today, and actually start educating and sharing some of your knowledge with your communities. So we have the amazing Francesca Witzberg and Mitch Jackson, who'll be co-hosting today with me. Briefly, Francesca is one of the world's best trademark and copyright lawyers. She's counseled top businesses, celebrities, artists, influencers, you name it. She also runs her Decentral Lawyer social media handles, where she provides aspects of all things connected to trademarks, brand protection related to Web3 and NFTs, and a top voice across these social audio platforms. And undoubtedly, my dear friend and mentor, Mitch Jackson, one of the world's best legal community builders, entrepreneurs, top trial lawyers, and definitely leading the way, folks, when it comes to all things Web3, metaverse, and indeed social audio. He also wrote the Metaverse Handbook and had a certain Gary V in his Metaverse penthouse very recently. And without Mitch, today would not have been possible. Again, testament to his networks, his communities he's building in social media and social audio, connecting us with Brooke today. But of course, the star of today is the wonderful BabbleOnBrooke. For those who don't know, Brooke was listed as a top 10 motivational speaker to watch by Yahoo Finance just last year. She's an international award-winning host, odds-defying health warrior, and high-level communication coach. And Brooke brilliantly blends 25 years of elite entertainment, communication, mindset experience, along with her own 10-year neck injury recovery journey from Hollywood to housebound to healing, where she aims to bring hope, joy, inspiration to every crowd she teaches and every client she guides along the way. And if that's not enough, folks, Brooke has been featured in NBC, CNBN, MTV, New York Finance, and the list goes on and on and on and on. And her motto in life, which I absolutely love: when you wake up breathing, it's a good day. And Babylon stands for keep going. I told you, folks, I'm super excited for this one. So a very, very warm welcome, Brooke.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for that amazing intro. I It's morning here in Los Angeles. So if I could start every morning with a Rob Hanna intro like that, wow.
well,
Holy
I
moly.
Well, thank you. Well, we're really honored to have you with us today. And we've got a lot to get through in such a short space of time. So I just want to encourage folks, firstly, if you have a question for Brooke, we want to make this an interactive session. Feel free to raise your hand, anything related to the topic, and we're happy to take questions. But I'm going to kick things off, and then my dear friends Mitch and Francesca are going to chime in too. So let's get straight into it, Brooke. What are your top 3 tips when it comes to standing out online?
Oh my gosh, I wish we could do more. I wish we could have more time. One of the things that comes to mind, and again, everything I share here today, by the way, with regards to social audio is applicable to any social audio platform. So we're on LinkedIn right now, right? But you can apply these to anything else that's out there: Twitter Spaces, Facebook's live audio, Clubhouse, Spotify's Green Room, you name it. So just know that if you're going to take notes, know that those notes will last you well beyond LinkedIn. So we can talk about standing online for out online rather for days, and standing out on social audio in particular is its own niche. So, one of the things that I share with people, something that's quite often overlooked, is, let's say, for example, here on LinkedIn, you have a bio, right? I would encourage you, if you are looking to use social audio, live audio, or anything for that matter, for your business, put it in your bio. Those keywords are so important. You can know how you can add a few hashtags here on LinkedIn, add social audio or live audio, and watch the requests start to flood in. And just give that a try over this next week. I challenge you to do that. So let people know what your intentions are for being online on any platform. The more clear you can be with your intentions and that CTA, that call to action, you are helping them help you. You know what I'm saying? It's very Jerry Maguire, you know? So let them know, why are you spending time on here? And let yourself know that first. Get very, very clear, be very intentional on, why are you on here? And how much time are you willing to spend on here, or any platform for that matter? I know we're jumping around for a few, different tips here, but this is just a train of thought. It is so important that we do not allow social media of any kind to take over our lives. And give me a thumbs up in the audience if you've been there before. You know what I'm talking about? You go down that rabbit hole, and before you know it, hours have gone by. So much time in your day is, maybe misconstrued as wasted. I see those thumbs up. Thank you for your feedback. Yeah, good to know I'm not the only one. And I'll tell you, you're not either. So be very intentional with your time online. If you are new to social audio and you are adopting this and saying, you know what, this is something that I want to add into my arsenal, this is a tool I want to add to my tool belt, I'm going to do this, but I'm not necessarily going to take on something new and add on a whole extra hour of my day. Instead, here's something I suggest. Look at how much time you're currently spending on social media across all the various platforms, and look at which ones are performing well for you. In other words, which ones are you getting results from? If your intentions are to gain clients, which ones are helping you do that and which ones are not performing so well. Those ones that aren't performing so well, take a little time from them and allocate it to these other platforms or to these other resources, in this case, social audio. So I know we're going, we're hitting a lot of different tips here, but just start to think about how you can be extremely intentional. It all goes back to intention with your time on any platform. It's going to ease up any monkey on your back that you may feel with social media in general, and it's going to help you get better results in far less time.
So, Brooke, let me jump in real quick. It's good to see you. We go
Good to see
way,
you,
way
Mitch.
back, everyone, to the early days of
Yes.
live streaming video, shared a couple stages together. Brooke, we're sold on LinkedIn Live audio, for example. We're a business
Mhm.
owner. We want to start incorporating LinkedIn Live audio right now. We're ready to do our first show tomorrow. We're sold on the concept. When we hit that go live button, can you share some examples about how we can immediately capture the attention of our audience, how we can not waste the time and attention of people who are there early while we're waiting for people to click in 3, 5 minutes later? What's the best way to start our live social audio presentations, whether it's an interview, a conversation, or anything else for that matter?
That's such a great question, Mitch. So, first, I'd love to ask the audience who has been in a live audio room on any platform and you've experienced exactly what Mitch is describing? You're in the room, you're eager to hear the content and what they have to say or what they have to ask of the audience. And instead, it's just crickets in the beginning. There's nothing going on. I see John's thumb up. I see Pooja, Garrett. Yeah, absolutely. Mark, I see your thumbs ups. Oh my goodness, we've all experienced that, and I'll tell you, as someone who comes from the world of entertainment, it's painful. It's painful to experience that and to hear the silence. So, in answer to Mitch's question, do not wait for anyone to come in, especially if you are recording that room like Rob is today, which is so smart, by the way, because then you can repurpose that content. So when you start a live audio room, get right into things. Introduce yourself. Welcome the people into the room, even if they're not there yet. You can always welcome them again as you see them coming in, but get right into things as if you have 1,000 people in the room. What that's going to do is number one, it's going to help the recording, right? Because those people now don't have to wait around and listen to pins drop while they're listening to the recording. So your chances of having those people be more engaging skyrockets. So that's one. Number two, it helps you get into the energy of the room. To go from 0 to 60, if you're starting your room, now you're going to wait for people to come in and then all of a sudden, hey, welcome everyone. Okay, now we'll get started. No, no, no. Get right into things. I would even say before you go live, and here's a tip on going live on any platform, whether it's audio, video, anytime you go live, prepare yourself beforehand. Get into the mindset that you want to exude. If you want to have more energy, do a few jumping jacks, say a few positive affirmations, whatever the case may be. If you get nervous before going live, go a little calm for a few minutes. Think of something really relaxing, whatever it is that you need to do for yourself, so that when you show up, when you press that live button, you are giving the best of you. So, absolutely, when people start coming in, you can always re welcome them. And I encourage you to do that. Be as engaging as possible, but start that room right away. No hesitation.
I love that, and it's so many things that I think about there, Brooke, and even some tweaks I'm going to make following this because it's so poignant. It's those 1 or 2% little changes or things that can make a huge impact, particularly in the world of social audio. So just give us a thumbs up if you're enjoying the conversations, folks. And then, as I mentioned, it's going to be an interactive discussion. So if you'd like to raise your hands at any point, we're going to get through as many questions. I've got a boatload, but I don't want to be greedy, so I'm going to pass the mic to my good friend. It's great to see you. It's been a minute. Again, thank you so much for being with us. Please feel free to briefly intro then fire away with your question for Brooke.
Wow, wonderful to be here. And first time for me speaking on a live LinkedIn, and just wanted to pretty much share a little bit in regards to Mitch's question. When I joined Clubhouse last January, Rob and Brooke were two of my very first connections there, and we connected energetically and voice-wise because clearly we have not met yet. And the reason why I'm here today is because when you feel welcomed in a specific platform, then you start to follow your friends in all platforms. And I pretty much raised my hand accidentally today. I just wanted to send a heart and I couldn't go back. And Rob brought me up on stage. It goes to show that there are no accidents, things do happen for a reason. And just like us connecting about a year and a half ago, and don't speak very often, when he is in the room, I know he brings the best people and they're super generous with their sharings and knowledge. And this is why I am here today. I don't have a specific question, but I just wanted to say thank you for seeing me, and thank you for being generous internationally. Back to you guys.
Oh, it's my absolute pleasure. And actually, you've touched on a great point and a question I wanted to flick over to Brooke as well, because Brooke, you do tons of courses. And by the way, folks, do not just check Brooke out here. Make sure you go to her website. Make sure you follow on all of her other social media handles, IG, Twitter. There's so much you can pick up from the content that she's sharing. But one of the courses and content, you talk about the power of social audio for advocacy. So can you tell us a bit more about that? And, I think we just sort of touched on that sort of point. There's a bit of a link there from what sort of McGenna was saying from our sort of relations and points of contact. So we'd love for you to talk a bit more about the power of advocacy when it comes to social audio.
Oh, sure. This is a passion of mine, and it's great to see you, McGenna. And McGenna just proved a wonderful point, by the way. When you are welcoming and engaging with people, especially people that you're just meeting, they very well may follow you to other platforms. I just want you to think about that when you are spending your time here on LinkedIn audio or any platform. It's like having people over to a dinner party. You want them to now ask you out to another dinner party, right? So you're going to be very welcoming and you're going to treat them well. You aren't going to just sit there and, again, wait for a pin to drop before you start talking, or not offer them a meal or, anything like that. So I love that McGenna just said what she said. And I hope that you all took something from that. With regards to advocacy, so I am a proud advocate for those with invisible disabilities. It's something that I lived with for over a decade following a car accident. I had a severe neck injury. I'm still healing from it. But for many years, I was housebound, 6 neck surgeries, everything, you name it. Went bankrupt as a result. It was real HE double hockey sticks. And during that time, I actually lost the ability to speak and breathe on my own for a while. So I was living a very challenging life, as are millions of people around the globe. 10% of individuals in the United States are living with invisible disabilities. Even more, of course, have the visible disabilities that we think of with a wheelchair or a cane, things like that. So, quite often, these people, number one, cannot get out of the house, or number two, cannot, let's say, go live on video or engage in other social media activities for a variety of reasons. Maybe they can't physically, maybe they can't mentally or emotionally, or maybe they simply don't want to because they're dealing with the emotions that come along with having a disability. So, social audio comes along. And let's just say Clubhouse really is the pioneer. And those of us that were on there from the beginning, we saw how much it helped the world going through a global pandemic, having this incredible connection to others. So, if you think of people that deal with various disabilities, it's like they're dealing with a pandemic all the time. And so giving them a tool where now they can have connection regardless of their circumstances is not only beautiful and amazing, it's critical for their healing and their livelihood. I wish that social audio had existed years ago. For my own selfishness, I wish that. But anything that you are, let's say, supporting, if it's a cause, it doesn't have to be the disability world, it can be anything. Social audio has this incredible way of connecting people that I believe goes beyond any other social media. And this is why we've taken out the filters. We've taken out the pictures and the videos where now we're comparing ourselves to each other and we're going, oh my gosh, well, there they are in the Maldives with their over the water villa. I'm not there. They must be better than me or more successful than me. We've taken out that comparison factor and we're just getting down to brass tacks. Humans connecting to humans. It's like back in the day when we would call our friends. Remember? Like, I can tell you, I'm 42. I grew up hanging out with my friends on the phone. It wasn't this, hey, let's compare all this stuff that comes with social media. So audio is beautiful. You can hear someone's voice. You know that they're legit or not from the moment that you hear them start talking. And in other words, you know that they have good intentions or not. So if you are choosing to use social audio for advocacy of any kind, I highly encourage it. If it isn't something that you've considered before, certainly do, because it's going to open up the world to you, to those you are helping, and it's going to assist in the process of anything you're trying to do, whether it's fundraising, raising awareness. It's just going to open up Pandora's box in the best way possible.
Hi, Brooke. It's Francesca. And what you said resonated so much with myself personally because I am a mom and I started my family at the same time when I started a practice. I switched firms. I had 0 clients and I moved to a new firm at a virtual law firm. Trying to build a business in the middle of the pandemic when no one was leaving their houses. It was really crazy, but thanks to social audio and Clubhouse, it was really during Clubhouse's heyday when it was just born. It's how I met Rob and Mitch and a lot of people in the audience who I still have yet to meet in person. Okay. But these are 2 of my closest friends and mentors, all the things. I've really built real relationships with so many people in Clubhouse. People did not know that I was severely sick from being pregnant. I was very, very sick, but social audio didn't thankfully I didn't have to be on video. No one had to see me be physically sick. I didn't have to leave my house. And then, of course, after I gave birth, the recovery. I was able to keep my business going because the reality is for female entrepreneurs who are raising families, they're obviously we're the ones that have to birth the children. It's a different game. It's really a different game at bouncing back and running your business while raising kids. So that was huge. I mean, I have been able to really just keep things going. And COVID kind of spoiled me in the sense where I felt like this is the normal and I could thrive. And then all of a sudden, when things were starting to open back up and I was getting asked to come speak in California or come speak in Chicago, it's like, guys, I have 2 small kids. It's wild. But thinking how that small difference, whether an event is hosted virtually or in person, can can make it can give the ability for people to show up when they can't physically. So I love what you said and thank you for being an advocate in that space. And now I do want to ask you a question because I am a trademark attorney and we all have worked really hard. A lot of you in here have built brands and slogans and trademarks that you protect. You use TM symbols, you use your R symbols, and you've come up with unique identifiers that you want to protect, you want to make sure are yours. But you are using them in Clubhouse, on LinkedIn. Brooke, have you come across any trademark issues? And do you have any type of branding tips for businesses that are using their trademarks in this space?
Oh, that's such a great question. And Francesca, so nice to connect with you on here. And thank you for sharing. I love that you just gave the example that you gave of being a new mom and experiencing what you did and how social audio has helped you through that. It's amazing. So, with regards to trademark, I can tell you, I mean, I knock on wood, that's very the East Coaster, the deep East Coaster in me. I have not come up against anything, thank goodness. I would say this, definitely take care of what you need to take care of before you're throwing around too many brands or slogans or that kind of thing. Contact Francesca because you never know. You never know who's listening in. Something that I always do, and this goes along with another, well, social audio, but social media in general tip, come up with an identifiable slogan. So, those who know me from Clubhouse and other platforms, I always introduce myself by saying, "Hi, this is BabbleOnBrooke. I'm blowing you a kiss from Los Angeles." Constantly. I mean, I can't even tell you how many times I've said that. That became my thing. I became known for it. And it actually helped get me on larger stages, or keep me there, I should say, and come back to them because people like Grant Cardone, he always wants his kisses. Like there's certain people that they love it. So come up with something that works with your personality and what it is that you want to share with the world. Come up with whatever it is and stick to it. Be so consistent with it. That's going to help you greatly. It can even be visual, it can be your picture. For example, it could be Rob with the orange background, but something where it clicks with people and they go, "Oh my gosh, I remember him. Yes, of course. All right. Yeah, Rob with the orange background." It helps incorporate more of your senses, and that's going to then make it more permanent even for your subconscious to recognize the person. But in
Well,
answer to your question, or I'm sorry, go ahead, Mitch.
no, please continue. Sorry.
Oh, well, I was just going to finish by saying, Francesca, I hope that answers your question. I personally have not come up against anything, but I would say in a heartbeat for a brand to be on here of any kind, make sure that you are CYAing, you know what I'm saying? And taking care of yourself and your creations.
So, so two things jumped out real quick that we kind of glossed over, and I think they're so critically important. And both you, Brooke, and Francesca just shared by way of example how important and powerful this is. First, Brooke, you mentioned social branding, using social audio, something we say, something our audience hears, can be part of our brand. And I think businesses on LinkedIn need to double down on incorporating that into what they're doing. Number two, you shared a story about you that instantly related all of us to you as a human being, but you didn't make the story about you. You tactfully incorporated, and you and I, have dived into this for hours in detail on a personal level, but you tactfully touched upon lightly what you've been through during a response to a question. And I think all of us can do that when we're having interactions with our clients or our customers on social audio. There are ways to incorporate your personal life, whether it's wins, challenges, losses, whatever it might be, into the conversation so that it helps create that connection, just like Francesca did with respect to being a mom, with respect to being a mom during the pandemic, with respect to being a mom during the pandemic while starting a new law firm. But she circled back to the question to you. Can you talk to us a little bit about the art of storytelling, the art of personalizing those stories with examples like I just shared, but at the same time in social audio, keeping the conversation about the other person or adding value to the audience? It's not about us, it's about our audience.
Oh, Mitch, if you all don't already know this, Mitch, not only does he excel at what he does for a living, but you are such a wonderful interviewer. You're such a wonderful question asker. I love it. So, absolutely. I think we're demonstrating it right now, right? We're all demonstrating it. And you can do the same. People, it's an old cliche, but it's so true. People want to do business with people they like. And especially here on LinkedIn, most of the people you're finding on here, what are they on here for? Business. It's unlike some other platforms where you may have a mix. So, absolutely incorporate yourself Not to say, to Mitch's point, you're not going to go on for 10 minutes about the story of you growing up and how it was a cold, rainy day, and then your parents had to, walk 20 miles in the snow to pick you up at the hospital or whatever the case may be. But it is important to share your personality. That's where audio or any sort of video, anything where we're using our other senses outside of pure visual, that's where your personality can shine. The rest of the time, when you're spending time here on LinkedIn, you're reading things about people. Well, that's all well and good, but how much do you read throughout the day? Think about that. How much do you actually read throughout the day? How much text do you see? Do we all see? A ton. We're being pummeled with it constantly. So notice how you yourself even you perk up when you hear someone's voice, right? It's very different, and there's a deep connection right off the bat. That's why I say this audio thing, it cuts through so much like stuff and noise and distractions. So you using these tools is going to benefit you so much more than continuing to throw up more and more text. And absolutely incorporate your personal life. What are a few things, and I challenge you, write this down later today. What are a few, you can even do it right now. What are a few things about your life that you think others might relate to? And it can be like Francesca said, she's a new mom. How many other people in the world are moms? you know, that's a huge relatable topic. So, what are some things about you that others can relate to? And then later work on, okay, how does that impact your mission, your reason for being here on LinkedIn to begin with, and your business? Spend time on that, and you will find yourself being able to incorporate those stories into what you share on here. And what is going to happen after that? People are going to feel like they know you, like they can trust you, like they can reach out to you. And that's exactly what we all want, right? You don't want to be just another name. You don't want to be just more text that they're seeing on their feed. You want to be someone who stands out, who others can feel like, hey, you know what? I can send a DM to Brooke and she's going to be welcoming and engaging. I can send a DM to Mitch or Rob or Francesca or McGenna, and they're going to remember me. So think about that. It's a lovely question, Mitch. And I would even go a step further and say, those of you who are listening right now, whether it's in this linked audio live or it's to Rob's podcast later, you have the exact same opportunity as if you were speaking. Here's one way that you can engage. Give before getting is another motto that I live by. When you live your life that way, it's just amazing and beautiful what winds up coming back to you. So, something you can do right now is take a screenshot. So if you're in the LinkedIn audio, take a screenshot of the stage. If you're listening to Rob's podcast later, take a screenshot of the podcast and put it up on social media. Then tag the people that you see and either thank them for sharing, or if there's a particular quote or tip that someone says, actually quote that person and say, oh, Mitch said this and I loved it. Francesca said that and it was amazing. It really opened up my mind. Put that up on social media, tag the people, and see how far that gets you. You would be shocked at how few people do that. And that is something you can do that is easy, that is free, and will take you so far. Try it out today and trust me. And I can tell you, if you tag me at BabbleOnBrooke on any platform, I'm happy to share that out. I'm more than happy to share that out. I love lifting others up. I love amplifying others' voices. And I know, I can say with pretty much close to 100% confidence that the others on the stage are the same way. They're those kind of people too. So try that in any room that you're in or any podcast that you listen to. Put up that information, share it with others. It will get you on the radar of the person who you're shouting out.
I love that. It's such great tips as always, and it's talking about sort of sharing that social digital currency. It's just showing that sort of appreciation. I'm learning from Brooke today about ways that we can build community and increase our own brands, and it's just fascinating, folks. By just turning up today, the people you can meet and the connection that you can make. I feel more connected just through the power of voice of hearing people on the stage today. So I've got a few more questions, but I want to
Rob,
jump.
can I say
Oh,
something quickly,
go for
very
it. Go
quickly?
for it.
Because we may change subject at some point. So I just wanted to share and pretty much reiterate what Brooke and Mitch and Francesca are saying uh, in regards to the power of social platforms. Because of Clubhouse, I connected with this particular publisher, and a year and a half later, he reaches out and says, "Hey, I loved your story. I loved how you always stay connected. I want you to be one of the 24 powerful immigrant women to share a little bit about your story in a book." And I'm like, wait a second, I'm not even a writer. What is this? But the honor that was gifted to me, the privilege, the fact that just through a voice, this particular person saw me and gave me the opportunity of a lifetime. It's magical, and that would have not have been possible if it wasn't for the creation of this social media connecting through voice. But at the same time, like Brooke says, stay connected, uh, share, reshare, check on them, offer to help. And a year and a half later, little did I know that I was a best-selling author, and it all happened because we took that first step to join a specific platform and then stay connected, and the results are magical, and it's just the beginning. So I'm so grateful again for your generosity, for your friendships, and for being part of this amazing community. And let's grow it to connect globally. Done speaking.
Absolutely. And congratulations, because as you mentioned, we originally connected on Clubhouse, and you've always been great at keeping in touch and supportive, and little touches, folks. We're humanizing the world of work. You always ask, how's my daughter, or how are things? And, not just throwaway comments, really wanting to invest in building long-term relationships. So I'm really pleased and happy for you, and just really enjoying this conversation. I just want to shout out a few of my buddies on the stage, and then we've got an awesome person up next with a good question, no doubt. I want to say hi to my good buddy Mark Wasserman down there, Pot Brothers at Law. Great to see you, buddy. He's doing some incredible things across social media. It's been a minute. Christopher, who's always been a loyal supporter of mine. Brandy, it's great to see you as part of some of the legal community. Selena, it's great to see you. Chris, I hope we get that call rescheduled. And many others of you in the audience. We appreciate all of you giving up your precious time to be here today. But next up, our next speaker is the wonderful Garrett Jackson. Before he comes off mute, I just want to say, firstly, congratulations. He just landed an awesome job with VaynerMedia. He's also the co-founder of Maneuver, which is going to be a cutting-edge top Web3 consultancy with his father, which you see on the stage today, the wonderful Mitch Jackson. Does it get a powerful combination than that? I'm not quite sure. So congratulations, Garrett. You have the mic. Over to you, buddy.
Thank you so much. And Brooke said it best. If I could wake up every day as Rob as my alarm clock just to hype me up and get ready to go out, I'd be on top of the world. So thank you for bringing me up. Something you guys kept throwing around is the term currency, and something I've always been taught is that attention on social media is essentially the virtual currency that everyone's fighting for. So I was hoping, Brooke, you could share a few tips about how to win those bids of attention and bring people into your social audio spaces.
Of course. And, having another Jackson up on stage, this day is just getting better and better. So lovely to have you here, Garrett. And congratulations on VaynerMedia. Wow. Congrats.
Thank you.
So, of course. So, like I said before, taking screenshots, shouting people out, quoting people, it's free, it's easy, do it. Every single person listening to this right now, again, whether it's in the live or on the podcast, by all means, I would say do not ever spend any time in a social audio room or listening to a podcast without giving something to the people who are creating that content or sharing on a stage. If you do that, let's say even just 3 times a week, you are in a live audio room or you're listening to a podcast and you shout out a few people each of those times. Can you imagine how quickly that adds up? What you've done is you've gotten on their radar and you've added them to your Rolodex. These are people that now you're starting that relationship with. And you think about now we need, I think it's 11 points of contact. It used to be 7. We need a certain amount of points of contact for people to remember us, for people to remember our brand, for people to remember our offerings. Well, now you've planted that seed. That relationship is starting. That first point of contact has been made and continue to go from there. If you do that for even just a year, just think of what happens to your community by the end of the year. Think of how much it's grown. And like McGenna was saying, you don't know what opportunities are going to come. You don't know. So just put yourself out there. I can tell you, I started on Clubhouse pretty much at the beginning. And it was actually Mitch. It was Mitch, of course, who got me on. And he was the first room I was in. And then I started spending a ton of time on there and hosting a lot of big rooms, big stages. And I just loved it. So for me, the opportunities came pouring in. It truly was wonderful because I took it from the mindset of, again, give before getting, right? And following the golden rule, treating others as I would want to be treated. That's just how I live my life. And as a result, without even realizing that it would happen, opportunities started coming my way. My coaching roster for last year filled up within a month of being on Clubhouse. Within a month, people were reaching out to me. I wasn't even promoting that I'm a coach, but they were reaching out and they said, you know what? I want to speak the way you do. I want to do social media the way you do. Can you teach me? I said, well, sure. That's actually what I help people with, but I wasn't on there promoting it. Like McGenna said, the book deal, and I've had other things like that happen. I have a course out right now, and the whole reason it was built was because of feedback and questions I was getting from others. So put yourself out there day in and day out and see what comes forward. And when I say put yourself out there, again, you don't even have to speak. You can be in rooms listening, but you can still be connecting. So make the most of it. Don't let any of your time on social media, social audio, podcast, whatever it might be, don't have it be solely about consumption. Think of what you can do to give back. And I'm telling you, the opportunities will come flooding in. Another thing, Garrett, is something I do when I start any room. I welcome the people as they come in, and then we'll take pauses and breaks throughout the show to say hello to everyone, help them feel seen, help them feel that they are part of the experience. So, for example, right now, I want to say hi to Graham, Marco, Web3, Yasser, John, Sanjana, Jay, Pooja, Mei Yang, Desmond, Jane, Arpit, Brandy, Fatih, Jean or John, maybe, Mark, Christopher, Shirley, Chris, Tristan, Selena, Aline, George, and all the replay listeners. Because you guys are just as much a part of this experience as anyone else. We're all equal here. And without you, guess what would happen? We'd be talking to the wall. That's the equivalent. So the audience, the community, the listeners are just as important as anyone speaking. And that's something that people usually don't realize when they're in a room. They think, oh, it's all about the people on the stage. It doesn't matter, what I'm thinking down here. No, it absolutely does. So if you heard me shout you out right now, please put a thumbs up or a heart or a clappy hands or whatever options we have here on LinkedIn. I would love to see that you're listening and present, and again, just welcome you in here and thank you for being here. And I see that Marco, Yasser, John, Jane, Mayang, Brandy, Chris, Celine. I mean, look at the people that are engaging. Can you imagine if you had these people in a room? This is a conference room size right now. The people that are listening. This is not something to take lightly. If you're doing a room or even a podcast and you don't have 1,000 listeners, so what? Look at the amount of people in this room. It would fill up a conference room. That is a big deal. So I could go on for hours about this, but I hope that answers your question, Garrett. And I loved what
That
you asked.
that was amazing. Thank you. And seeing everyone light up in the way you control the room is awesome. And I think everyone should take notes about that because when you're in an audience, it's so easy to feel not seen and, like you said, just listening and you don't feel a part of it. But then right there, I'm sure everyone got a little bit of an injection of a little smile because you got to throw out a heart. And I mean, everyone, please, if you have questions, feel free to raise your hand. I'm sure Rob would love to bring you up and hear what you guys have to say. So thank you.
Brooke, well, first of all, Garrett, you're amazing, and I'm so excited to see all the incredible things you and your generation is going to do because you are obviously a thought leader already just by graduating. And so thank you for coming up on here and great question. Brooke, I have a follow-up question. I think a lot of this relates to confidence because I can see it. I can tell when people are timid and shy and may not want to have that spotlight on them. And then I see people who are like you, Brooke, that shine, you radiate, you really own a room. It doesn't have to be a physical room, as we just saw. So, what is your advice to people who maybe it's not that they lack confidence per se, but what is your advice to people who maybe want to get some more confidence?
Oh my gosh, that is the age old question. People ask that constantly. So if you're listening to Francesca's question and going, oh my gosh, you know what? That really resonates with me. I can relate to it. Am I the only one? I'm the only one sitting here that isn't confident right now. No, 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 no. That's the majority of people in the world. So lovely question, Francesca. And that's something I teach on with my social media course, Standout Online Academy. So confidence is something, it's important to know this, that can be taught and that can be learned by anyone. There's no one on the planet, there's nothing in your DNA where you cannot be confident or learn confidence. There's nothing that is prohibiting you from showing up as the shining star that you are. We all have it in us, every single person. And I just want you to take a moment and think about your life, think about your experiences, think about your knowledge, wisdom, education. There is no one else on this planet that has that combination. That is how unique you are. No one else has the exact same set of skills and life experiences that you have. In other words, you are extremely unique and very special. And there are people in this world that need, not want, there are people in this world that need to hear from you. Because I can talk till the cows come home. Rob can talk till the cows come home. Mitch, Garrett, Francesca, everyone, we can all talk. All the cows can come home. They can all get fed. They can all play. They can get put to bed, And still, there are going to be people that we don't get through to because they don't feel they can relate to us. But maybe you are the person that they can relate to. You are the person that resonates with them. That is so important to think of every single time before you go online. Because if you don't, what's going to happen? You're going to go online and you're going to quickly go down that rabbit hole of comparison and all the stuff we talked about before, right? And before you know it, you're doing a lot of scrolling, you're doing a lot of consuming instead of educating, instead of sharing. So if you can start to skew that number, if you can start to move it a little further over into the sharing and educating side, not only does the world get better, but your opportunities are going to increase.
Oh, I'm just loving this conversation, Brooke, because there's so many points that I'm resonating with, particularly when it comes to this sort of, sharing of digital currency, the whole audio experience. And I wanted to kind of be a little bit devil's advocate with this. Because we're all on the social audio bus. We get it. We're on board. But there might be some people that have sneaked into this room and they might be in between meetings and maybe their current employer has no idea or isn't on the bus for social audio and doesn't really get it. So, what tips would you give to people who maybe are trying to go and convince some of their directors or partners or owners of their business, hey, we should really look at this? Any tips for people to try and speak to their teams or to start creating? Because we know the power of it, but they may need a bit more ammunition to get that over the line so they can start creating spaces.
Oh, what a fun question. So I would say this. You can liken social audio to social media when it first came out. It's the same exact thing. It just looks or sounds, in this case, pun intended, different. So I come from the world of entertainment. I spent a lot of my career prior to my accident as an international award-winning host and a TV and stage actor, Fortune 500 spokesperson, all that stuff. I'm sharing this to say that I was always speaking, I was always doing creative things. And my agent said to me, I'll never forget this, it was 2008. And she said, I think you should start a YouTube channel. And I said, YouTube, what's that? And she said, no, here's what it is. This is what it looks like. You should start this YouTube channel. I thought she was crazy. I said, that doesn't make any sense. And to me, it didn't. It didn't make any sense because it didn't look like anything that I'd ever done before. It wasn't your typical, go out to an audition and then you get a call back and then maybe or maybe not you get the job. And, what I was accustomed to. So for me, because it was different, I wasn't willing to try it. And guess what happened? I didn't start the YouTube channel and I missed out on a huge opportunity. And I was the same way with Twitter, by the way. I went into Twitter kicking and screaming, and I didn't even go on or start on there until I think 2014, 2015. I missed the boat. So what I would encourage you to do is look at some of the statistics. Rob shared some at the start of this. The impact of social audio, the amount of people, the projection for the amount of people to be on here in a few years' time. Take that information to your employer and say, hey, we don't want to miss the boat. This is Twitter circa 2010. This is YouTube circa 2008. This is the internet circa 1995. This is something that we don't want to miss. And you can even go to them with a plan and say, look, this is what my day's work looks like. This is where I spend my time. Here, there, everywhere. I'm going to take some time, just like I said before, if you're adopting any new platform, take some time from somewhere else so that it doesn't take over your life, but you can start planting seeds on this new platform or resource. So go to them with a plan and say, here's what I propose. I would like to incorporate social audio. I would like to incorporate LinkedIn live audio into our outreach, into our marketing, into our business development. And here's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to take 30 minutes of each day from spending time on X, because X really only gets me so much in terms of results. And I'm going to start spending it on social audio. I'm going to go into these kind of rooms. I'm going to learn how to strengthen my communication skills. And then I'm even going to start having my own rooms. And let's just do it as a pilot for 30 days. Let's just see what happens. Let's see what results come from that and measure those results. Keep track. How many people are coming into your rooms? Or if you're going into others, how many contacts are you making? Like I said before, if you're just an active listener and participant in other people's rooms, like Rob's, like Mitch, like Francesca, go into their rooms, take screenshots, shout them out. Now you can go back to your employer and say, you know what? I didn't even have my own rooms. I didn't have to. I went into other people's rooms and look at these connections. Now they could become clients, or they can introduce me to people who can become clients or customers. So think of things that way. And that's what I would say. Propose that. And if you're a business owner yourself and you don't have an employer to answer to, still do the exact same thing. But do not miss this boat. This boat is going to continue going. It is a cruise ship. It is a massive cruise ship that is only going to get bigger and circle the world. It's probably going to go to the moon and back. It's not going anywhere. It's only going to continue to grow. So no time like the present. Get started and get started now so that you aren't me in 2022 wishing I had started a YouTube in 2008. I hope that helps.
I love that. This journey started 600,000 years ago, depending on which historian you're paying attention to, with all of us sitting around a campfire, communicating with our voices. And fast forward to today, Brooke, here we are. One reason Garrett and I are so excited about the metaverse is not only do we think that's taking things to the next level, but everything we do in the metaverse revolves around social audio. It revolves around what our avatars are saying and how we're saying things, incorporating storytelling and metaphors and voice inflection into our conversations. For everyone listening live and in the recorded version of today's conversation who would like to learn how to do these things better, okay? They want to get into the metaverse. They want their avatars to communicate effectively and persuasively, or they want to just stick with traditional LinkedIn social live audio. How can they learn to do this better? I know you've got a course, a book, or something like that. Where can they connect and get this information from you?
Sure. So I have a ton of information, like Rob was saying before, on various social platforms and on my website. I encourage you to check it out. There's a lot of free information. So you can go to BabbleOnBrooke.com and find free resources. You can also find, I have 2 courses on social audio. You'll find them there. And I have a new program that I'm so excited about. It's called Stand Out Online Academy. It helps you to communicate much more easily and effectively and to target your ideal clients and customers more efficiently to attract them to you in a very fun way, by the way. So that comes out next month, but the wait list is open right now. It's what I've been taking one-on-one clients through for years. So that information is on my website as well. And again, you'll find free resources. I have a standout online roadmap that gives you 5 top tips to help with exactly that. I also have a social audio guide on my website that gives you 5 top tips on how to use social audio better. So just go to my website and you will find everything you need. And I encourage you to reach out to me and connect on social media as well, whether it's Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, whatever your thing is, I promise you I'm there. And I'm happy to help you in any way that I can.
I'm loving it. It's just such a giving, kind community. I just find the power of voice and bringing people together and energy. It just breeds more collaboration. I feel it in the rooms, and just give me a thumbs up if you felt through social audio you've been able to collaborate with a lot more people. I've been hanging around on social media for a long time, but like Brooke was saying, this is going to the moon. I mean, I thoroughly enjoy collaborating with my dear friends here on stage, Francesca, Mitch, and it's great that we've got Garrett up today and he pops in, supports our rooms, and also is going to be hosting some of our rooms very soon, I'm sure. And Brooke, we have amazing guests like you. It just brings out all these great opportunities to collaborate. And as we heard earlier from McGenna, who, we go way back from Clubhouse. So I'm super excited. So before we hit the top of the hour, Brooke, we've touched a little bit about sort of obviously, how you can share some of that social currency and do some screenshots and, share that out to people. What are some of the other ways as we come to the top of the hour people can really follow up? Because the art in anything in business is the follow-up, right? It's great to have the in the moment conversation, the connection, but none of my deals would ever have happened if I didn't follow up or have an effective strategy for following up. So is there any top tips when hosting or attending rooms you would give when it comes to really strategically following up, or any time frames, anything like that you would suggest?
Sure. So again, the screenshots are incredibly valuable. Quoting people is extremely valuable. When you go into a room, if you're in a position where you can take notes, take those notes and then throw them up on social media. Or if you forget to, or if you have so many quotes that, you can't put everything up, DM them to the person. DM them. What you're doing is you're giving them content. You're actually helping them out. And simultaneously, you're saying, hey, I'm in your corner. I love what you have to say, and I'm a supporter now. It goes so far. So put things up on social media and tag people, but always follow up with a DM and another DM and another DM. I wouldn't let that go as long as it's constructive. You're not just saying, hey, or, you up? Not that kind of DM, you know what I mean? But actual engaging DMs where you're providing them value. And in terms of a timetable, Rob, I would say DM someone immediately. Like, I'm hoping I get a bunch of DMs from all of you at some point later today or tomorrow, because I would love to hear from you. And I'm sure Rob, Mitch, Francesca, Garrett, McGenna, everyone would. because life really is about relationships, right? So
I already messaged you to be on my show as a guest.
you got it. You got it. And I'll get back to you. I will get back to Francesca within the next 24 hours with a resounding yes. Because, of course, I want to have people like this in my life. I want to do business with people like this in my life. So follow up with a DM within a day. And then, maybe give them some leeway. But I would say in another few days or a week later, follow up again. Then give it another week, follow up again. Even if the person, for any reason, does not get back to you because they have a full plate and a very heavy workload, you are staying on their radar. And that is the beauty of these rooms. Get on the radar of the people that you want to be connected to. It's free. This isn't even an event that you have to pay thousands of dollars for, where you go and before you know it, now between the event and the hotel and the food and all that, now finally you have a few business cards, right? No, this is so much better. It's easier, it's cheaper because again, it's free. So make the most of it.
Love that. And it's so true. And I love that you talk about the sort of DMing there as well. I always use the analogy, you're never chasing, you're just offering new news. When you're trying to go back to a relationship or you're trying to follow up with someone, offering them new news, add something of substance that's going to carry on the conversation rather than me chasing. So I love that perspective. And I just thoroughly enjoyed the whole conversation. Brooke, where else can we find you this week or online? What else have you got going on? And yeah, how else can people stay in touch with you?
Oh my gosh, I have so much going on. And honestly, I need to clone myself. So I'm very excited. You'll see a lot of press that's coming out. I'm going to be in Forbes in a couple weeks. Just had that interview on Friday. So there's a lot coming to the forefront. And like I mentioned before, I have my Standout Online Academy that is coming up. The wait list is open now, and applications are going to be due in just a couple weeks. So if you are at all interested, even if you're just on the fence, get on that wait list. And you can do that at standoutonlineacademy.com. You can also stay up to date by following me on any of the socials at BabbleOnBrooke. But by all means, stay connected. I look forward to hearing from you. And if anything I have to offer is of service to you, then I'm truly honored. Thank you, Rob, Mitch, Francesca. Thank you so much for having me on today. It's been a wonderful experience tapping into your community and sharing.
Well, I'm sure I speak on behalf of Francesca and Mitch to say the pleasure was all ours. We're so grateful for you giving up your time to be with us today. And I just want to say thanks so much once again to Mitch for making this happen and connecting great people. And I would strongly encourage that you definitely follow Mitch and also follow Francesca. She's always producing high value content. And don't just follow Francesca and Mitch here, by the way, because they're also hosting lots of spaces on other platforms, some also Web3 focused platforms. So I definitely suggest you follow Francesca and Mitch over on a platform called Entra. If you don't know what that's all about, make sure you give one of us a follow and ask the question, because we think that's the future and it's exciting. But thank you all, you in the audience. As we mentioned throughout, it's important that you, the people, are recognized because you've given up your time, you've given up your day to come and join today. So we really do appreciate each and every single one of you. We hope you've got value. We hope to see you again. We do try to run these rooms as regularly as possible on Mondays. So look out for our announcements for our future events. But thank you all so much. Wishing you a great week ahead, everybody. Take care. God bless. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.